Hey, Orange One here. So in this video, I'm going to show you the basics of how to set up a base to get something kind of looking like this. Um, the first thing that you really need to do is find a good biome and identify what crops can grow there and where you can buy those crops. So you can easily do that on the wiki. But I think a couple ones that come to mind is like arid environments, like the desert environments. That will grow cactus pretty well. The swamp areas grow, I think the swamps down here. That grows rice weed and like hemp really well. And I think green fruit as well. So there's different things that grow better in different environments. So if I go right here, I'm just gonna have my character right here hit the prospect button. The first time you do this, you'll get a menu that tells you a little bit about prospecting, but basically it tells you about the different resources in the area. Right here, there's very little resources. So there's some stone, there's no fertility and no water. I don't know if that was the case when I built the space because I was able to get some water out of the ground here. So I can see that there's some copper right here and some iron right here, so you can see that on the prospect menu. That's something that's not super critical at first, but later on will become really, really useful. The thing that you need to start a base is stone. So if you have stone, you can build walls and buildings and all that. With fertility, you can grow crops. So these crops right here I have planted. Although it's in an area that normally isn't fertile, I found a patch that was fertile soil. I'm not sure if it was a bug or not. So right here I've got a stone mine. Because there's lots of stone here, it's pretty easy to build a base here. So I've got like 94% right there, but if I go further away, it can go for anywhere between 0 and 100. And the higher the percent, the more stone you'll yield. It's like an efficiency thing. So you need a stone mine and a stone processor if you want a base. Realistically, otherwise you're going to be hauling tons of building materials. So you're also going to want some food, and if I look here, it's arid right at this patch, and it actually has decent fertility. Up in the 80s. I could actually plant a couple more things in here. There seems to be this kind of vein of arid area with decent fertility. And this dead, you don't see dead environments too often, but this is one of them. So it's got 0 fertility and crop yield. And different crops have different fertility. So like vegetables aren't gonna grow well here. And wheat, it'll grow, but it's not going to give you a lot of yield. So if you want to live in one of these environments with low yield, you're going to need hydroponics, which is something I'm actually working on in my Let's Play series. So let's just see, I'm just curious if we prospect. I wanted to just show off a couple other environments. Here you can see there's actually a little bit of water, and there's a patch of fertility right down there. Actually, that's, I think, where our base is. So that's pretty good. Let's see, I sent this dude out here to go prospect in this biome and see what he gets for fertility. Oh look, there's some fertility that way, so let's go that way. Sorry, I've been pressing this button a lot. That sounds kind of getting repetitive. So look, yeah, I'm getting some high fertility. So if I look here at my crops, and you're going to need to research your crops, but you can see that this area, pretty good fertility. This whole area I could grow crops in. This right here, although it's arid, not good fertility. Fertility for me isn't a big deal, especially once you get in the late game, because you can get hydroponics set up and you can get 100% fertility anywhere for any crop. But you are going to want some water, and some locations are really nice for that, others not so much. Like this whole area is pretty dry. I mean, it is a desert, so that kind of makes sense. What about you? I sent you out to check for fertility. Yep, high fertility but low water. Kind of makes sense. We are in the desert. But yeah, that's the basics of finding a good place to get set up. You need to know the biome that you're going to, know in general what crop grows there. Then you send people out, you prospect, you get that stone set up, and making some building materials. And I would recommend having 10 or so people before you try to do that, and some decent skills, because once you get walls up, people will start asking for taxes and they might attack you, and yeah, it opens up a whole new can of worms. So yeah, that's my tutorial on prospecting and the foundations of base building. Thank you for joining me. This has been Orange One.